Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, my name is Buchi and you're welcome. Please like this video, subscribe, and keep watching until the end. And if you're a return subscriber, you're welcome back. Like this video and then let's get started. So guys, welcome to the second, this is the second episode of my coming out story. It's about my first kiss with a boy. So here's the thing about telling stories like this, right? The thing is, after the first video, let me be honest with you. Let me just be honest with you and open. Talking about stuff like this, especially things that's happened in my past and my traumas, they're very heavy, and I don't do heavy, and I don't like heavy, and so that's why I wasn't even able to come and talk about that. I couldn't talk about that like this face to face and just tell the story, because I'm probably just gonna break down and I'm probably gonna get too emotional and I'm probably gonna cry my heart out. And we're not gonna film that video that day. We're just never gonna film that video because it's impossible to do that, and I couldn't do that. So that's why I needed to make it creative, blend it all into beautiful clips and stuff, so I can be able to just send the voiceover. And even in that voiceover, I didn't do it once. First of all, it wasn't scripted. I told the story straightforward like that. And I cut, if you notice, I cut the voiceovers. Like I would speak for like say 1 minute, and then I will go and do it, and then I come back, I continue from there, because it's just too heavy and it's just too much to just do once. And then I don't know why, but I'm just not that strong yet. I can't. It's too much. I was like, instead of just talking about the difficult part, the heavy part, the depressing part, how about we talk about the happy ones? So this is a very happy story, right? This is a very happy story. The thing is, for a long time, I somehow happened to block out a lot of things that's happened in my past and in my life, just because at that moment I was smothered with self-hate and self-loathe. So I had this habit of completely blocking out things that actually happened in reality. And I never, like, some of these events, like, right, when I remembered them, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this actually happened. Like, the way I completely successfully blocked them out, it's like they never existed. So yeah, that's why I block out. And a lot of these happy things I'm going to be telling you guys on this channel happened, and I should have been genuinely happy and excited. I'm proud of myself that they happened, but because at the moment I was full of self-hate and self-bitterness, I could not just calm my tits and enjoy the moment and absorb the beauty. So that's why, oh God, I'm sounding like a fool. Anyways, I'm going to tell you guys how I kissed a boy for the first time, right? So, it was in a boarding school. I went to an all-boys school. In case you haven't noticed, yes, I went to an all-boys boarding school. The story about this boarding school we're going to have to talk about in another video, because it's an entire story of its own. But this one, in this video, yeah. If you've ever been to boarding school, right, you know how there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of rules and there are a lot of things, right? My own boarding school was like a ghetto boarding school. Well, it's not really a ghetto. It's not really a ghetto, but it has ghetto system. Like, seniors are like kings, and they beat students and they punish students, and, stuff like that. And also, that in boarding school you get a lot of boys. It's like 70% of boys there are gay. Like, literally, it's not even a joke. Even the toughest jock in school, like the toughest, most strongest boy in school is gay, and he has concubines and mistresses. Yes, if you've been to boarding school, you know this. So there's no such thing as intense homophobia there. There's actually this culture of acceptance. Very funny, by the way, just very funny. Considering that I was sent to the boarding school for the opposite reason. Like, that's where I'm supposed to go and toughen up and be a man and be a boy and take charge, right? Meanwhile, these people were not homophobia. They are to some certain level, but it's just like a prison, right? In a prison, it's an accepted system. People have wives and they give each other blowjobs. Anyways, that's what story. So if you've been to boarding school, right, the first day, so like I like privileges, so I returned that day. I came back to the dorm 2 days before the actual official resumption date, right? Because then that's when you get a lot of like you get time to settle down, to settle in and calm your tits and get into the whole system before the new semester begins, right? So I came back. And then so the first day is always calm and nice. There are no seniors yet. Everyone is nice to each other. And so, some senior students have laptops, although it's not allowed. So they have laptops in their dorms and they come to show off and they bring stuff. And then so people watch movies and stuff. I think we were watching what's that weird boy that have this weird haircut? I don't remember what they call that. Avatar. Yes, Avatar, the cartoon boy. So we heard that a senior. I remember the senior that was there at that time. It was that boy. We're going to talk about that one. But yes, it was the current senior at that time. And so we were watching it at his corner. So we went there, right? And we were watching this show. So, kids, right? Whenever someone, oh my God, you have a laptop and they were watching, it's like everyone is like packed and squished into this one tiny corner. So everyone is like jumping up on each other, hopping. I want to see, I want to look. It's like it's so new. We're watching the movie in a boarding school in a private laptop and whatever. So like, it's a huge deal. So everyone was just pressed onto each other, right? And so little me, obviously I would find my way to the front. So I was leaning on top of the bunk bed, the bunk bed there. So I was leaning on the bed like this, right? So I was like this. And so there were students behind me and we were gingerly enjoying the show. It was beautiful. We were having fun and nobody was punishing anybody. Everyone was just calm. And so to a certain point, I realized that something was going on behind me. Like it wasn't. I didn't notice it immediately. It's been happening, but I didn't pay attention to it because I didn't think it was anything. But to a certain point, I realized that there was some sort of certain movements that I recognized. There was some motion just on my butt that I recognize very well. There's something's moving up from my butt. I was like, wait a minute, I know what that is. What's going on there? Is it and then at first I said to myself, okay, it's don't overthink it, Derek, it's okay, it's nothing, don't. It's just people are on top of each other here, so it's not a big deal. But then with time I realized that it became much more precise. And the movement, was more precise and more intentional. You can tell that thing has a soul. It knows what it wants and it's going for it. And so I decided to give it to normal response. And so I move my butt a little and then I just rocked it a little, if you know what I mean. And and then she responded. The movement responded. Why am I speaking in codes? Somebody was rubbing his penis on my butt, and then I rubbed back, and then that's what I was trying to say. If in case you don't understand, I don't know why I was speaking that big English. Anyways, we communicated. Normally, gay people, we communicate without speaking and without even looking. Like we communicate, it's like a sync. We're all synced together. We think the same thing at the same time. So we communicated. So he rubbed, and then, oh, okay, and then between time, I just felt this really manly overpowered. It's like he was, because I was little. Although I was very tall, I was little. I've always been a tall kid, but he was, it's like I was now the little spoon. This was happening. People were there, but I feel like people weren't noticing because they were focused on the movie, on the laptop that was going on there, right? So I don't think they noticed. So he was like, cuddled me over like this. And so I was like, oh shit, it's happening. It's really happening. And then I was like, I was like, okay. When I was definitely sure that someone was rubbing their penis at me. And so I was like, I moved my hand, and then I grabbed it, and oh my God, I can never forget. It was remarkable. It really was remarkable. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, if I look up and the face does not match this, I'm gonna be really disappointed. That's what I said to myself. I was like, it better be someone that I like. It just better be someone that matches this thing that I'm feeling here right now. And then I looked up because they were definitely bigger than me, and so I looked up on you. Long story short, yes, he did. He did match. He matched like 10 out of 10. I was like, oh my God. I mean, prior to that, I've heard rumors about the boy being okay. He was a senior too. So but I didn't really, because like he was never really in my dormitory. He was like in a different dorm from me. Like he was in a different house from me. So we were never really friends. So when I saw that, it was oh my God. I was like, Derek, you whore. Mind you, I was 13, 14. Yes, I was 14. Because I was almost about to graduate. I was going to graduate the next year, next 2 years. So I graduated at 16, high school. So I should be 14 then, or 15. 14. Or 15. I'm not sure. But somewhere along that line. So immediately, we did he like looked at me. And then when I looked at him, he winked. I was like, oh. And so he left, right? So he left. You know that thing where you just know what's going on. Like you just so much in sync. Like you know what's gonna happen. You know where to meet. You know how to go. So he just went outside, and so I waited a minute, and then I followed him, and then we walked into a classroom. So if you're from a dormitory, right, you know that the dormitory compound is different from the actual school. Like, so the students who live in the dorm, right, they live separately from the school. So we left the dormitory and then we went into the classroom. And at that time, first of all, it's not even new semester yet. So the places are locked. And at night, the day side of the school does not have light. So it was all shut off, but even the street lights and everything. So there was definitely a lot of privileges for us that time to do whatever we wanted to do, right? And so we went there, and he walked into a classroom. I followed him, and then that was when it happened. Usually, right? So we then started making out in the classroom there. Like we were making out, and it was beautiful. Usually for me, I mean, based on how I grew up and everything, there was never really so much intimacy going on. It's just really touch your penis, I touch your penis, you touch mine, I touch mine. We do like it was never really much like nobody. I don't know for you guys how you grew up, but for me, nobody really cares about like your arm or your neck or your whatever. They just want to do. It's just a penis that they care about. So that's what I was used to at that time until this boy. And so when we went in there, right, we we started making out. Things were wow, this is a thing. And like the whole I got an entirely different meaning and definition of making out. And oh my God, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna come here and say, oh my God, I was disgusted. No, I was not disgusted. I enjoyed it and it was beautiful. It was kissing my neck. And then it happened with the kiss. It's like he was coming close to me because he was really big and taller, right? Yeah. And so he was close to me, right? And so when he comes and then he grabs my neck like this and then comes closer like this, it's like, I was like, before that, I've always been a tall bitch. I've always been the tall bitch, and I've always been a loudmouth, and I was a power bitch. I was a power girl. I controlled everyone. Like, I'm not I was that girl. I controlled everyone. Like, don't. But with this one, it was different. It's like I, zit, I, myself. I was just humbled. And so I thought he was going to say something to me, but like he wasn't. I realized he was coming closer to my mouth, and then he kissed me. At first I was like, "What's that? What's that? Oh, we're doing this. Oh, that's new. Oh, yes, it's kiss. It's a kiss. Oh, gay people kiss. Oh." And then I was just like, I was confused and shocked, and at the same time, it was just really. I don't know how to explain it, but like before I realized, I was like, "Oh shit, shut up, Derek," and try it. And then I was just. That was it. That was how I had my first kiss, and it was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Like remembering that night, it was beautiful. And so after that, he carried me, and then he took me to so in the classroom, right? There's a teacher's office where the teachers stay in that office, right? He looked around and he found something. The office was locked, obviously, and so he found this boy. Whew, break the lock. You should have seen little me. Oh my god, that was so hot. When he broke that door, teacher's office. So let me tell you, right? If seniors are kings, then teachers are gods in that school. The ranking is serious. So when that boy, he wasn't even a senior yet. I'm not sure. Was he a senior? Yes, he was a senior. It was definitely nerve-wracking. Like it was, I was gagged. And when he broke that, I was like, yes, daddy. Like, just oh my god. Long story short, I felt complete. I just let him do whatever that night. And it was, oh my god. You know what happens right after the whole teacher thing, the insight with now and fit. It was remarkable night. I've never forgotten that day. I remember everything the same way, exact same way it happened. Oh, by the way, after that, right, that class became my favorite prep room. You know what prep is, right? Where you go to study at night. It's a compulsory thing in a boarding school. It became that for a long time, long time, that term. The thing here is, right, with this story, it was at that time. You know what's funny? You know, after that day, I was like, obviously, the self-hate and the self-loathing didn't let me enjoy. It didn't last long. I told after that, I told myself. So it was after that, after a while, right? My friends and I, they were talking about the first kiss with their girls back home and their girlfriends and how the kiss was, how they liked it. And then they were talking about their first kiss, right? And that was when it got to me. What about my first kiss? And then I remembered immediately that it was with a boy. I was like, oh my God, Derek, shame on you. How could you let your first ever kiss be with a boy? How could you let that? You were shameless. Look at yourself. Oh my God. You should be ashamed. You know, when I look at those times, right, I was like, I was so surprised. How could a little me be capable of saying such things to myself? It's like, this was how I realized that when I see people being evil to other people, I'm no longer surprised, because have you seen the way they are with themselves? Like, you think someone is selfish. They're not really selfish. They're just really doing something because they know it will punish you. They're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it because they know it will hurt you. That's why they're doing it. They're not really doing it for themselves, because the amount of self-hate that someone has, like, I cannot believe that I would say those things to myself. I cannot even, like, it was so bad. It was, I punished myself for that for a long time. Like, it was like I ruined the first thing. I remember any slight chance I would have that time, to kiss a girl, I'll kiss. I just kissed every girl that I ever met. Just so maybe it will compensate for my first kiss being with a boy. And it is so embarrassing to think about and like to actually look at. And it was so, oh God, I was like, Derek, shame on you now. Like, it's so ill. How could you do it was such a beautiful, like, I said it, like, when I started accepting myself and my sexuality, I was like, not even a lot of girls get such privilege, babes. You should chill. Like, I forgive myself for ever being such stupid. But the most important thing is that I now accept that it was a beautiful thing and I should enjoy it. Also, the boy that I'm talking about, if you watch this video, do not come to my DM because you're no longer that hot. Respect yourself. Don't come here now and disturb my life, okay? If you're that boy that I'm talking about, right? I thank you so much for giving me that. I appreciate it, and I'll forever be grateful for it, for having such. But don't come to my DMs. It's in the past. Stay where you are, okay? Anyways, that's it. That's my story. That was my first kiss with a boy. It was beautiful. It was everything that it was supposed to be, and I don't regret it. Yeah, it was beautiful, and I'm happy about that. Anyways, you guys, if you're like me and you kissed a boy for the first time or you kissed a girl for the first time, you should appreciate it. Do not feel guilt. Do not say God's gonna punish you because God. Don't even go there. Don't go there. Whoever is going to be telling you that, look into their own life and you see that they're also full of their own shit. Do not let anyone tell you anything. Do not let anyone make you believe anything. You should take your win. It's your win. Take it, absorb it, feel the beauty, and move on with your life. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching me talk nonsense. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to your friends. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye-bye.